Room 442 is presented by North Star Bets. That's a win.
Welcome into room 442, and it's time for the people segment, as Mikey would say, whether we agree or not. James Sharman, Albert Rotanian, and myself, Sarah Pararia, we are here to play red card, yellow card. If you don't know how to play, I will be saying a statement about football, and the gentlemen here will decide whether they agree with it when they will play on. They are unsure, they'll give me a yellow card, and if they completely disagree, they'll give me a red card. So I tried to think of maybe some controversial topics here. Let's kick it off. Albert, you're up first. Erling Haaland is more important to Manchester City than Kylian Mbappe for PSG.
Oh, wow.
That's a good one.
That is good.
That's excellent.
Oh, man. I'm going to say red card. No, I'm going to play on. Erling Haaland. What are you talking
Make your
about?
mind up.
Yeah, Erling Haaland. He is more important to Manchester City for the reason that Mbappe has, at least this season and the last season, Messi and Neymar to make up for playmaking and make up for the goals.
What about City with
Manchester
their
City,
entire squad?
There's no player, I think, in world football who can make up for the goals that Erling Haaland has scored this season. As many as he has. What's he up to at this point? Is he almost at 40?
45
including
total
yesterday's
goals.
There's
All
no
competition.
player that even comes close to that at the moment for their club. So I just, in that sense, I think City would be okay without Erling Haaland because they've done that before. But in terms of trying to make up the goals and the impact that he's had so far, look at that win over Bayern Munich, has a lot to do with Erling Haaland. I'm going to go Haaland over Mbappe. With that said, I'll never forget what I saw from Mbappe at the World Cup.
Yeah, precisely.
Yeah.
I'll play devil's advocate and go red card here.
Okay.
Just because, like, literally a month ago, I'm saying I think City are better off without him.
Yeah, that's right.
Remember that?
Yes.
Because
We
they
had,
weren't
that
playing
was our
that well.
conversation.
Yeah, because I think if you look at the numbers this time compared to the last number of years, the centre forward had so many more touches, whoever it was for City, compared to Haaland, who had like average about 20 touches per game, right? But now I'm seeing what he does, and obviously it's a case to be made that he's pretty important. And Mbappe is still the best player in world football for me. He holds the future of that team. If Messi leaves, if Neymar leaves, if he stays, he has to stay, right? They can't jettison all three of those players this summer. As you know, the rumours are at least two of them are moving. You've got to keep one of them. So therefore, I think he's more important. But I mean, that's a tough argument, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
it is. I mean, Haaland's brilliant, but Mbappe, he does so much more, I think, than Haaland. If you're having like a
He's
Ballon
so much more
d'Or
well-rounded.
conversation for the next like 10 years, who will have the most? Mbappe's having more
I
than
agree.
Haaland, I think.
I agree with that 100%. But it was for this season, and I like what you both had to say about that. Up next, I'm actually going to start with you again, Albert, because this one is specifically for you.
Oh, Harry Kane, is he going to leave Tottenham?
I can't do that one anymore. Osimhen and Kvara will play on the same team next year.
Oh, wow. Red card. No, they won't. I don't know if both are going to leave. Both linked, by the way, with PSG. If two or three of those players end up leaving PSG. I don't think that's going to happen. Manchester United striker. They're rumored to go with Osimhen. If that's the case, Kvaratskhelia can go pretty much anywhere in world football at the moment. So I think when you have two highly coveted players where they can literally go to any club in the world and demand high wages, I don't see them staying.
I'll do a yellow card because they might both move to the same club.
Yeah, that's
Right?
true. Yeah.
If PSG
Weren't
are
we
really
talking about
ambitious,
PSG? Yeah,
right, yeah,
last
they can
week.
afford it.
Yeah.
But the reality is, no. I think that there'll be one of them will be moving for sure. If you're Napoli, you can't sell them both, can you? You're going to be champions. You're making noise in Europe as well. You could be a force for a while. There's good young players coming through there as well. So I think Osimhen will be the one to leave because there's just too much noise around him right now with Manchester United. And we mentioned before earlier today, Bayern Munich could be up for a striker as well. They got a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I think one of them is moving, and it's probably going to be Osimhen.
I like that. All right. James, we'll start with you now. Manchester City will win the Premier League this year.
Yellow card.
Classic.
On room 442
Defense.
last week, I said Arsenal are still my favourites to win it. That's before they, of course, drew Liverpool. City are coming for them hard right now. Hard, right? And they play each other. They got a game in hand as well. So all the numbers are kind of suggesting that City might pip them at the end here. But every time Arsenal face adversity this season, they've responded with great performances. So it's going to go down. I think it could go down to the final weekend at both ends of the table, by the way. And I'm still going to say Arsenal will take it, but it's going to be so close.
I think I agree with you in terms of it going down to the probably the final game or final games of the season. But I'm going to go play on. I said it last week. Manchester City, I think they're going to win the Premier League based on how they're performing at the moment. And just Arsenal's answered all of the questions and passed all of the tests. But what they have to go through from now until the end of the season is very difficult. They had to go to Anfield, picked up a draw there. Probably should have lost based on the way Liverpool played in that second half.
Ramsdale saved them.
They still have Chelsea. And they got to go to Newcastle away. That's a difficult fixture. And you look at Manchester City, the majority of the games against teams below them, at least mid or from the middle of the table to the bottom of the table. So based on the way that they're playing, everything is clicking. 3-0 lead on Bayern Munich. I mean, they're not going to let up against Bayern in the second leg, but that's a lot of pressure off of them. And I just see Manchester City going all the way.
Could it be like last year with the 1 point difference? Who knows? I also have
Could
to
be
remind
close.
you guys,
Could be goal
Albert
difference.
is a Spurs fan. Keep it in mind.
No, it has nothing to do with that.
James, back to you.
A little bit.
Canada will win the Concacaf Nations League.
Ooh, that's a great one. Can you imagine if they get another trophy, first one since 2000 for the men?
Can you imagine if they don't?
Yeah, I can imagine that.
Yeah,
Listen,
you
the
can
States
imagine
are
that
a
too.
really good team, and Mexico's a really good
Yeah.
team. I think the States are still a better team than Canada when everyone's healthy. Canada's come a long way, and there's no reason why on a single game Canada can't beat either of those teams. That they've shown that they can. But let's not compare the States to what we saw in qualifying. Let's compare the States to what we saw in the World Cup, which is a much better team. So I'm going to say no. They'll get to the final. They've got an easy path to the final.
Show me
So
your
so I'm going. Sorry, red card. That's right, red card. But you know what? If you combine red and yellow,
Orange.
Orange card. Yeah, because I mean, listen, they could. They're good enough to do it on a given day. They got the tools. They got the best player out of the two teams. If we take Mexico out of the equation, so I'm going to say no. But would I be surprised if they did? And that's sitting on the fence. I know it's really poor broadcasting, but I'm a poor broadcaster. So
Not true. You're a very good broadcaster. Canada's going to win. Play on. They're totally going to win. Listen, they are the kings of CONCACAF.
we're going to retire that phrase,
that is
can we?
a fact, right? They're the best
yeah.
team in CONCACAF. Okay, not the greatest showing at the World
Are they
Cup.
the best team in Concacaf?
Well, they won it, right? They won it last year.
Yeah, but
They get to the World Cup.
and then the World Cup though.
Yes, I know. But anyway, so tough World Cup.
Dismiss the World Cup.
Just dismiss the World Cup. USA was good, but Canada, I was about to say the Leafs. Canada, they have the edge over Mexico and USA, as we've seen in their recent fixtures. I like the look of their team. The team is strong. I mean, there is obviously some weaknesses, but there's no reason why Canada can't go out there and win. They've beat both of these teams, I mean, like you mentioned, and they have an easy path to the final.
We'll see.
The goal. Hey, let me ask you this, just so jumping in quickly. What's bigger for you, the Nations League or the Gold Cup?
The Gold Cup.
Yeah.
Nations League is
Nations League is
fugazi now.
yeah, they made it
Nations,
up.
Nations League.
Better than it was.
Nations League is
friendlies.
Conference League.
Yeah. I think it means more in CONCACAF.
It only
perhaps,
matters
than
once you get to
Europe,
the final.
I think, don't you?
Probably.
Yeah.
But even still, I mean, when Portugal won the first Nations League and Ronaldo
No,
won
I
that
don't
trophy.
care. But listen,
No.
the trophy's a trophy, right?
Yeah.
And if
No,
Canada's hunting
for a nation like Canada who hasn't won much on the international stage, it's a big deal.
Right.
All right, let's try and smash a few more of these out. So let's be quick with our answers here, guys.
Okay. I suck at this game, by the way.
No,
I
you
am
don't.
horrible.
No, you guys are good.
You're just too hard on yourself.
No, you're good. I'm not good at this.
All right, James. Lionel Messi will be a Barcelona player in the 23-24 season.
We knew that was going to come.
Come
at some point.
on.
No, he's not.
Okay.
No, he's not. And I really hope he is.
Yeah.
If I could, have a little chat with Leo and say what's best for his legacy, I'd say go back to where it began, man. Like just do that. Well, after Newell's Old Boys. He's not, because they can't afford him. And I think he's shown by going to PSG, it is about the money for Leo Messi, and you can't, hold that against him. I hope it's not Saudi Arabia.
Well, he turned down the Al Hilal offer.
Well, so we think.
Yeah, so we think.
So we
spoke
think.
to
When they come back at 450 million a year, he might change his mind. I think he's going to be in MLS next year. That's my gut tells me. That would be the good move, the right move, outside of following his heart. Boss is still in turmoil. That league's in financial turmoil. How can they afford Leo Messi?
It's not what I'm asking you. I'm just asking you if he's going to play at Barca.
What was the statement? He will?
He will be at Barca.
So red card, by the way.
Yeah, I'm going to go red card too. I don't see it happening. I mean, unless the only way I see it happening based on all the financials is if he takes a massive pay cut, or just they have to work that some way. And I just don't see it happening. And I don't understand why everybody is goo goo gaga over Messi going back to Barcelona. Why does he have to go back to Barcelona? He's done that part of his career already. He can move on and do whatever he wants. He can clearly still play at the highest level. And if you're a team like Barcelona who can't afford him, then go somewhere else. Maybe we see him in the Premier League. Build your brand even more.
please.
I don't actually believe that answer, but
Messi, you know what you have to do.
How about Messi and Pep? I mean, who wouldn't want to see that?
That's why Pep's, I think.
Oh, yeah, because,
winning.
City need a striker.
Imagine putting that guy behind Haaland. Oh, my goodness. With Kevin De Bruyne?
Shoulders.
All right, guys. Let's keep it rolling. I got 3 more, and I want to get them all done. Chelsea will not qualify for any European contention this year.
Play on. Yeah, they're not. They're not going to. But they're 12th position right now. There's a lot of ground to cover. I mean, there's a chance they can sniff around at the Conference League, but I don't see it happening. We'll see what happens today against Real Madrid. Should be a beating, and that'll just dismiss the second leg completely. I'll focus on the Premier League. I don't like Frank Lampard as a manager. I don't like this team. They're allergic to scoring goals. I don't see them doing that.
Yeah, play on. I agree.
Yeah.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy. All right, second last one. The Copa America should not be held in North America. James, we'll start with you.
If you expand it like long term to include North American teams, Central American teams, then why not? Of course you can. I think it should be. Now, this time around, if you can find a stable country with respect to South America, you put it there. Of course you do, because it is still South America's crown jewel with the invitational teams coming from North America. But eventually, I would love to see all these things, one big tournament, right? You know, you have Gold Cups joining Copa Americas. How great would that be?
Sarah hates that.
I know she does, but think about the competition with Euro. That would put it very much on par with Euro, I think.
But the Copa America is on par with Euro by itself. That's because
I love Copa America.
I think that's your European side coming out.
There's more decent teams in Europe than there are in South America.
I think maybe at this moment, but I think a few years back you wouldn't be able to say that. When Chile
and Argentina, Brazil, Chile, Uruguay, Paraguay, Colombia, 6.
Peru made the World Cup.
Peru. Respect to Peru. Lovely country. But they're not a force.
Have you been?
No, but I will go to Machu Picchu one day.
Yeah. No, I just think the thing is with South American football, it's always a lot more than just the football. It's political, it's emotional. So the games are at a much higher intensity than sometimes, you know, a match between like, let's say like a Portugal and Italy. When you see that, you're like massive sides. But in South America, like all the football games are so much more important to them. In my opinion, I hold the Copa America and the Euros both equally. I'm happy to have them both, but I think they're on the same level.
Yeah, I'll play on. I don't think it should be held in North America either. I mean, if you look at the Euro Cup, it's in Europe. You're not going to put that anywhere else. Copa America is the same thing. It needs to be where it needs to be.
Yeah, but if it's expanded to include North American teams, they're hosts, right, moving forward. Right?
Yeah, but the origin is not North America. That's
not the origin, but if it's evolved.
Yeah, I mean, the only issue is probably infrastructure, like you kind of mentioned.
Yeah, it is.
It's probably the biggest issue, which makes you kind of understand why it would be placed in North America, because they have all the stadiums and everything is in place and travel is easy. I'm not sure if that's the case in some of those countries.
You don't want to see Brazil against Argentina?
But it should be in South America.
I'd like to see it at the Maracanã first.
I will say this, Copa America definitely needs more coverage in North America.
100%.
I think that's another thing too. It's like you're on looking for streams and stuff, whereas like the Euros, you know it's going to be.
I did play-by-play for every single game back in 2011.
We need to get the tapes to hear Sharvin saying all these Latino names. Oh my goodness.
Oh, I butchered them.
I'm sure you did, and I'd love to hear it. We'll make it real. It'll be great. All right, guys. Finally, let's end it off.
We got one more.
Yes. It has to be about Chelsea, James. Come on. We can't get through anything without talking about Chelsea. Frank Lampard will do worse than Graham Potter at Chelsea.
Worse? No, I don't think he will. You know, I mean, listen, and I'm a Graham Potter guy. I respect Graham Potter. I think he'll get that team playing better domestically. Forget the Champions League, like I said. They'll be smashed by Real. The run is not too tough for Chelsea. The players will respect Frank Lampard. The squad is still really good, with the exception of up top, of course. So I think his winning percentage, which actually is pretty good, actually, if you look at it compared to the last couple of managers, including Thomas Tuchel, I would put Frank Lampard as a better winning percentage than Graham Potter.
All right, well, he only has a couple games left to prove it, so we'll see. Albert?
What is it? He will do worse?
He'll be worse than Potter.
So I'm red carding that.
Yeah.
Man, that's a tough one. I'm going to go yellow card. I'm on the fence with this one. Listen, I feel so much for Potter, but he kind of did it to himself, and he did it to himself at Brighton as well. For some reason, I don't know if it's him or the people above him, but he struggles to find strikers. He never has a striker in his team. What's the biggest issue with Chelsea? They can't find the back of the net, and they still have the same players that Potter had. So I think it can go either way. That's why I'm on the fence. But I just want to say I feel for Graham Potter. He's a really good manager. He just didn't have the players, I think, that he actually needed.
Graham Potter, if you are listening, Albert feels for you.
We'll
see, guys. We'll see. They have a massive match tonight.
And how can the players? Sorry, how can the players respect? Okay, I understand Frank Lampard's a legend at Chelsea, but if you're Todd Bowley and you're going to your players, by the way, I'm going to hire this guy, but don't get too used to it because he's gone at the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a player on that team, you're like, I don't need to impress this guy.
Well,
we're not in Europe.
But they're still playing for the jobs, though, aren't they? There's still people watching.
Maybe.
Right?
I don't know. It's a very strange situation. I think it's a lose-lose situation for Chelsea.
Yeah.
I mean, and when you're talking to James Corden about who should be the man,
well, that's a problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you believe that?
I'm sure they had a conversation.
It was the Sun that reported it, and Lampard was like, "Oh, I know nothing about that." But
it wouldn't surprise me that Todd Bowley had a little chat with his mate. Hey, what do you think about this? Doesn't mean that he actually gave a formal,
right.
I think Frank Lampard. I don't believe that, but a conversation was probably had at some point.
James Corden.
Well, we'll see what happens, guys. First loss to Wolves. They got to play Real Madrid twice and Brighton. It's not looking good, Mr. Lampard.
Room 442 is presented by North Star Bets. That's a win.